Well, thank you so much for joining the call today. You are a friend that I've had for so long now, which is crazy, ever since
Yeah.
college, which is over a decade.
hmm
And you're someone that I've always just looked up to with all the things that you are in. You're an artist, you're a mom now, you're actively in the military. You've been so many other things though. And I think just your life experience, your faith, like has always spoke to me. So I'm just so grateful that
Well,
you've taken time to answer just a couple questions for us and for our network. I
yeah,
know
of
it's going to
course.
encourage someone. So just thank you. I know you have a busy schedule, but I really appreciate it.
No, it's such an honor to be here. Are you kidding? Thank you for asking.
Of course. Okay, so obviously I know you well, but our network doesn't know you as well. So for those who don't know you, can you just describe a little bit about this season of life, maybe a little bit about what you do and who you are?
So right now I am in the military, active duty full time, but I'm also a full-time artist independently, which is something that I don't ever think I'll ever leave behind. Just because art has always been part of my being, always been part of my personality, my culture. And then yeah, I raised two beautiful kids with my husband. Just those different hats that I wear throughout the community too. We serve in a local church. And yeah, so that's kind of where I'm coming from right now. We live in the beautiful state of Alaska. So just outdoorsy community and faith-filled life. That's kind of what I'm doing right now.
hmm I love that. And we were just talking offline a little bit about a trip I made to Alaska, and I
hmm
would have never went there if you hadn't moved there. So it's a beautiful place. You don't meet a lot of people from Alaska, at least I don't. So I love that you're holding it down there with your whole family too. Okay, so you said you wear many hats, which is true. You're like a mom, you're an active military member, you're also an artist. How have you navigated those different roles?
I think the best way to describe navigating all of those different worlds is giving myself the same grace that I give others. Because I feel like as believers, we're just so gracious to other people. Hopefully, when you have like a genuine walk with God, you like are really gracious to others. I've definitely had to learn to be gracious to myself because when you're working in the military, there's so many roles that you have to do, and getting up early, working out, going to work, doing all this stuff, and then coming home to a full house with children, and then having my personal dreams too. That can get very muddled. Um, and there are going to be times where, I might drop the ball in one area and I get disappointed, or I have a huge dream with my artistry and that has to be kind of prolonged because I want to be with my kids. So I think just making room for each of those spaces and then being gracious to myself of like, you know what? I'm not in a rush. This is a life journey and that's okay, you know? So I think that's how I navigate it. Like that's the way you can have joy. Because I feel like if you just pressure yourself of like, I have to hit all these things, like, bro, that's such a joy robber. And I don't live in those spheres without joy. Like I refuse to not have joy in my life. So yeah, just graciously.
Yeah, that's good.
hmm
So have like in seasons that you've maybe struggled to hold those different roles. I know you talked about learning grace for yourself. What did that look like to have to maybe learn to have grace for yourself? Did it kind of just hit you one day? Was it a progression? Like how did you learn that through maybe like the ebbs and flows or the ups and downs of holding those different roles in your life?
Yeah, it's definitely a progression. There are times where realizations come and you're like, wow, that was really, really poignant, or that was really like stark and it was a highlight. But looking back over the couple years, I really think it comes with the maturing of your faith and just becoming wiser. Like when I first started out as an artist, I was really out to prove myself. And I'm like, what for? Now I don't have anything to prove to anyone. I feel like I just have a confidence that's instilled in us as believers. Like, God, if He wants the door to open, it'll open. And as long as we're doing our job with having a good work ethic and sowing seeds and planting, then there is going to be something to reap in the end, you know? So when I'm like struggling, even with work, there can be missions that I'm given and it's like really short fused and I have to really be on the ball right then and there. And it could sometimes conflict with what I want to do personally. And the right way that I learned to react is like, okay, prioritize, manage your time wisely. And if that means kind of being flexible, then so be it, you know? So I really do think that learning to give myself grace has been, yeah, just a continuous thing. And as a mom too, man, once you have kids and you realize like, wow, my humanity is real.
Mm,
It's so real and they are such a mirror of what you give, you know? Like I give this energy, they will reflect it back. If I give them peace, they will, hopefully take that on and learn emotional maturity too. So, yeah, it's definitely been a gradual learning.
mm. I love what you said about that. Like, I'm sure that is so humbling as a parent to see your kids reflect you as well. And then learning to have grace in those moments for yourself of like, okay, I'm gonna pivot here, I'm gonna change this. It's like you're also learning as you go as
Yeah.
well. Okay, so something else that I love about you and that you've taught me a lot is about your Samoan culture, and
Mhm.
where you come from. And I feel like that's such a huge part of just you as a woman of God that you are, you as a mom, but also you as an artist as well, and how you express that. But specifically as a Samoan woman, what parts of your culture would you say have most shaped who you are today?
I would say, as a Samoan woman, the part that shapes me from my culture the most is the communal part because you consider the next person, you consider your family, you consider the bigger picture before yourself, and not even before, but like within yourself and including yourself. So everything that I do is always connected to someone else. I don't feel like I've ever been alone. There have been like lonely seasons, but I've never felt truly alone because I know where I come from. And that's such a gift. I know that not everybody has that. And thankfully my parents, let me know like this is the bigger picture of where you come. Like there's a whole lineage that you are a continuation of. And yeah, and I'm excited to pass that on to my kids too, and even to other kids that are within my local area.
That's beautiful. And I've
Hmm.
honestly seen that even up close, like when I remember coming and visiting you and just you talking about your
Really?
family. Yes, and you also talking about your family being close and your family being a big part of your life and going back to church with your family and those things and just the value that you had for that, I think is beautiful because loneliness is a thing, that a lot of people
Yeah.
face. And I think that it is rare. Like, it is more rare, I think, these days that people stay close to their family and stay within community in that way. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's beautiful that you're building that with your family.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of work. And I will say though that sometimes in the Samoan community, or I feel like any culture really, that there can be the temptation to feel alone when you're part of a bigger group. And that I feel like is just a human thing where you have to kind of combat that lie of like, no, I'm a part of a bigger community, you know? And I've definitely had to work through my family with a lot of things in faith, but thankfully we're in a season where we're growing together and it's not contentious in any way. But I appreciate you saying that. I
Yeah,
really do.
yeah, definitely. So, kind of flipping more to your artist hat now, how would you
Hmm.
say that your Samoan heritage or culture has influenced you specifically as an artist?
Man, it influences me in every way because my perspective growing up Some of my earliest memories was listening to our village choir singing, like
Mm,
with the windows open. We're in our family house, and the next one over is like the fellowship hall for the church because my dad was, you know, a professor for the seminary back home. And some of my earliest memories was just the island breeze and the people singing.
mm,
Like, how can like, I can't ask for more than that. I don't want to paint like a perfect picture though. Like, there's definitely some things that needed to be healed. There's definitely things within our culture that needs to be addressed. But overall, though, there's still beauty with being around people and knowing them and taking the time to learn. So, yeah, and even with my music, you can tell that I'm deeply connected to my dad. Like that's my guy right there. He's my one of my biggest inspirations. He's my bestie. Like I love him so much. And I think that's just a direct reflection of how I value my culture too.
mm,
Because you're taught to respect your parents, you're taught to honor them, and it goes in line with our faith. So yeah, I try to capture that in my sound too, with
mm,
fusing, island and modern sounds or classical and just traditional things too.
mm.
So yeah, it definitely has a big part.
Yeah. Is your dad also an artist as well?
Are you kidding? He has a music composition degree. Like,
Wow.
shush. Yeah, bro, I'm telling you, this man, he was a saxophone. Well, yeah, he was a composition major. And then he went to seminary. So that's what I try to explain to people is like, I'm not reinventing anything. I feel like when people try to be so independent that they're like a lone island, you're cutting off so much richness. And I am fully aware that there are people that I can learn from, including my dad and others, other leaders, that why would I try to isolate myself for the sake of being original when I don't think anybody's original. I don't think anything is new under the sun. I think there are new takes and there's new translations and new ways to implement art. But if we're being, very honest, it's like we come from somewhere. So yeah, he was definitely the OG. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. I think that's also a good point that there's no shame in connecting and being influenced by other people. I think there's a lot of pressure, especially as someone creative, to kind of like pave your own way, do your own thing, be you.
Hmm.
But you can still do those things, but within the context of whether it be family, friends, or people that have gone before you, there's also a beauty in that as well. And I think that also connects to our faith, right? And I think like the generations that have gone before us, like I feel like that's also very biblical. And so
Yep.
yeah, I think it's beautiful the way you see it. And I think it's very honoring to even the generations, kind of like the younger and
Hmm.
the older generations and honoring that and kind of
Hmm.
even like playing off that as an artist is really cool. So I do think that comes across in your music that you've made, that I've listened to, or that I've seen that you create with. I feel like you are very honoring of your culture and your family in that. So it's cool to hear you just explain it more, like of of kind of what I see. Yeah.
Of course, I think a lot of it is too growing up. We grew up everywhere. Like we would move every 3 years because of him being in the military, and um, I learned to value that. Like some people, and there's nothing wrong with this either of like finding your own way. But I knew at a young age that like a lot of the beauty that I could offer in creating art comes from just acknowledging where my family has been. I
Mm,
didn't have to rebel against that
mm,
too much because I was like, man, why try to reinvent the wheel when I come from artists already who were already strong in their faith? Like, why would I, you know, try to do something different in a sense of like not acknowledging that? that would
Yeah.
just be such a loss. But
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's huge. So, kind of like going off of that right now as a creative, what do you feel like inspires you the most right now in this current season? Like, what do you feel currently inspired by? What's inspiring your sound right now, your music right now?
to be honest, I think my biggest inspiration outside of the people that I love, my husband and my kids and all that, I think ideologically, the biggest inspiration is knowing that there are no limits with God.
Mm.
Like, he can literally take someone in the middle of Alaska and take their sound to someone across the world. Or you never know what tomorrow may bring. So I think that's what's exciting for me is like, oh wow, I feel like I'm walking with God. Like, what are you gonna do next? So that's what's inspiring. I don't feel like I am creating music or videos or anything like that from a place of I have to prove myself. Like, we need to get this done. Like, I'm over that. It's more of like, where is God gonna take me, and what is He gonna do? And honestly, as long as I'm faithful, it's up to you. So like, I don't have any worry, you know? So that's the part where I'm like, ooh, this is fun. This is good.
Yeah. It's that surrender, almost
Hmm.
like that sense of control, like giving that to God. That's sometimes
It's,
hard, but how you're saying it's almost easier when you actually do it, because it's like, all right, Lord, there's a freedom in it.
yeah, yeah. I definitely feel more liberated in the sense of it's not based on how many things I can logically put together and try to get out. I'm just like, okay, what feels good? What feels right? And then God give me the timing so I can put it out when you want me to, or
Yeah.
bring people, and I feel like I find myself more bold in my faith too. Like, I used to want to kind of do like sidestep because I feel like as an artist, we just like being cool with everybody because that's my heart. Like, I'm like, I want everyone to feel like they're receiving love and kindness and stuff. But sometimes that can mean a little bit of like shying away from what you believe when you're out in the marketplace or out doing things. And yeah, when I give it up to God, I feel more bold. I'm like, okay, God, if you really want to open this, like, let's talk about it. Like, you're gonna have to make a way. You're gonna have to give me favor or whatever you want to do.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. So this kind of, I mean, you kind of answered it, but what is maybe like one truth or one thing that you feel like God is really reminding you of or speaking to you in this season?
I think just the truth of we are those who are in him are truly sons and daughters of God. And there doesn't need to be a hesitation of does he want to give us good things or not. It's more of is this for you or not. And that has brought so much peace because I've always been an overachiever of trying to achieve whatever, always trying to achieve something. But as I've grown in my faith, I'm like, wow, as long as I'm doing my part and giving my gifts to him, he will allow me to achieve things. He will bring achievements to me. He will bring me the ability to work with my hands. And that's so, for a person who's always like goal driven, it's so relaxing, just knowing like, wow, I'm a daughter and that's my father.
Mm,
And if it's for me, he will. And if it's not, he won't.
mm. That's good. The
Mhm.
assurance, just like the confidence of the assurance of your identity, who you are, and like
Yeah.
moving in that and really having faith
Mhm.
that God is for you.
Yeah.
And sometimes it sounds so simple, but I do think it's a truth that we have to come back to, because it's easy to forget. It's easy to
Yeah.
forget.
It is very simple coming down to it. But when you put in all the different facets of life, it can be so challenging, especially when we bring in our own understanding. Man, it can be quickly become overwhelming. And I think that's why I always have to revert back to where's my peace? Who is my provision? Who is the person that is giving me these gifts in the first place, giving me these children, giving me this career? And when I do get centered back on biblical truths, you're right. There is a confidence there where it's like, all right, come what may, come what may.
Hmm.
Everything will be just fine. And not even that, but blessed.
Mm,
So good.
that's so good.
Hmm.
Well, thank you so much for sharing even just this few things with us, just a little bit about more about who you are as an artist, also as a believer. I hope that those that listen check out your music as well. I'm going to link your page and everything because I think your music just really speaks to who you are. And this is just a taste of some of the stuff that comes up, like themes of family, of your faith, just your experiences, your culture, all of that. So I love the authenticity you put inside of your craft as an artist. And I just feel like who you are comes out. And I just appreciate that. And especially as a fellow believer, I just love what you're creating. And so please keep creating.
Thank
'Cause
you.
I want to follow you. So yeah, thank you.